Okay, so you want to be a color sampling operator.
Mm-hmm.
Time to mix up some success.
That's right.
We're diving deep into those interview questions, not just giving you answers, but showing you how to really impress with your knowledge and passion.
Think of it like this. We're decoding the hidden language of what interviewers are really looking for, specifically for color sampling operators.
I love that. So picture this. You're face-to-face with the hiring manager, and they start with, how did you become interested in the field of color sampling?
Seems like a softball question, right?
It might seem that way, but it's your opportunity to stand out from the crowd. Anyone can say they're interested in color. But what's your story? Was there a specific moment, a project, or even something from your childhood that sparked that fascination? Sharing that personal connection demonstrates genuine passion, and that's memorable.
Ooh, and maybe even turn it around a bit. Show you're curious about them, too. What was it about this field that initially drew you in? Exactly. It shows you're already thinking about fitting into the company culture and genuinely interested in the people you'd be working with.
Okay, next question. Can you describe your experience with color matching and calibration? Now we're getting into the technical stuff.
This is where you want to showcase your expertise, but in a way that's clear and engaging. Don't just rattle off a list of tools and techniques. Instead, tell a story about a specific project where you faced a challenge, how you used your skills to overcome it, and the results you achieved.
So it's kind of like this one time at band camp, I had to match 50 shades of beige for a new line of raincoats.
Well, maybe not band camp, but the point is, make it relatable and engaging. And if you can quantify your success, maybe you improved color accuracy by a certain percentage or reduced production errors. That's even better.
Numbers don't lie. All right, here's one I bet comes up a lot. How do you ensure consistent color reproduction across different materials and printing processes? That sounds tricky.
It's all about understanding that color doesn't exist in isolation. It's affected by the surface it's on, the lighting, even the way our eyes perceive it. Here you'd want to talk about your knowledge of color management systems, standard operating procedures, maybe even specific techniques you use to account for those variations.
Like what happens when a color looks perfect on your computer screen, but then prints out totally different? Been there, done that, ruined a t-shirt or two.
We've all been there. That's why having a solid understanding of color profiles, calibration, and the differences between things like CMYK and RGB color modes is so important.
Ooh, good point. Speaking of important, imagine they hit you with, can you describe a time you had to troubleshoot a color-related issue and how you resolved it? What's the play there?
This is your chance to really shine as a problem solver. Choose a specific example that highlights your analytical skills and ability to think critically under pressure. Walk them through your process, how you identified the root cause, the steps you took to correct it, and the outcome.
But not just any story, right? Pick one with a happy ending.
Absolutely. Focus on an experience where you successfully resolved a challenging issue. And here's a pro tip. After sharing your example, you could ask, what kinds of color challenges are most common in this role? It shows you're already thinking ahead and eager to learn about their specific needs.
Nice. Okay, question number 5. How do you stay up to date with the latest trends and advancements in color sampling technology? That sounds kind of intimidating. Like, is there a color sampling newsletter I should be subscribed to?
Maybe, but really it's about demonstrating a commitment to continuous learning. Do you follow industry blogs or podcasts, attend webinars or workshops, mention any specific advancements or technologies that you're excited about, and why?
I'm really fascinated by how AI is being used in color matching software to improve accuracy and efficiency. Show them you're thinking ahead.
Exactly. It's that passion and forward thinking that will set you apart.
Okay, this next one seems pretty straightforward. How do you prioritize and manage your workload when working on multiple projects simultaneously? That's basically every job ever, right?
Yeah. It's definitely a universal challenge, but especially important in a fast-paced production environment. Here, they want to hear about your organizational skills and ability to juggle competing deadlines without compromising quality.
So how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, but seriously, what kind of specific examples work well for this question?
Focus on your process. Do you use to-do lists, project management software, or a specific prioritization method? Give a concrete example of a time when you successfully managed multiple projects, met deadlines, and delivered high-quality work.
And maybe throw in a line about how you thrive under pressure. Some people crumble, but not you.
If that's true, then absolutely. Confidence and a positive attitude go a long way.
Okay, back to the technical side of things.
Yeah.
Can you explain the difference between CMYK and RGB color modes? This one feels like a bit of a trick question.
It's a fundamental concept, so it's essential to have a solid understanding. Briefly explain that CMYK is used for print, dealing with how ink reflects light, while RGB is used for digital displays, dealing with emitted light.
Right, because you're mixing light versus mixing ink. Totally different beasts.
Exactly, and to really nail this question, provide a real-world example of when you would use each color mode, like designing a brochure for print versus creating graphics for a website.
Okay, making it relevant. I like it. Now, this next one sounds pretty intense. How do you ensure accuracy and consistency when matching colors across different substrates and materials? That seems like a recipe for disaster, or at least a bad dye job.
It's definitely a challenge, but one that color sampling operators need to master. This is where you discuss your process for color management and quality control, mentioning specific tools or techniques you use.
Like using a light booth to control the lighting conditions when you're evaluating colors? Or are those just for fancy photographers?
Not at all. Light booths are essential for accurate color assessment, especially when comparing different samples. You could also talk about calibrating your equipment regularly, or using spectrophotometers for precise color measurement. Don't forget to mention any industry standards or best practices you adhere to as well.
Okay, last but not least, how do you manage quality control and assurance in the color sampling process? This one sounds pretty important.
It's absolutely critical. Employers need to know that you take quality seriously and have systems in place to prevent errors. Go beyond simply saying you double-check your work. Talk about standardized procedures, meticulous documentation, and maybe even a system for tracking and resolving discrepancies.
Oh, it's not just about getting the color right once. It's about maintaining that consistency throughout the entire production process.
Exactly. You want to demonstrate that you understand the bigger picture and your role in ensuring a high-quality final product.
Because at the end of the day, nobody wants a batch of lipstick where every tube is a different shade.
Precisely. Attention to detail and a commitment to quality control are essential for any color sampling operator, that's for sure.
Okay, we've covered a ton of ground with those interview questions. You're well on your way to wowing them. But what about the bigger picture? The career guide had some really interesting points about building a career as a color sampling operator. What's the first thing someone should focus on once they land that interview?
It might sound counterintuitive, but start building your portfolio and now W, even before you have the job.
Interesting. Tell me more about that.
Think of your portfolio as your color resume. It's a chance to showcase your skills and experience in a way that words on a page just can't capture. Include things like color charts demonstrating your mixing abilities, photographs of finished products you've worked on, maybe even personal projects that highlight your creative eye.
So like if someone's into textile dyeing in their spare time, that could be portfolio gold.
Absolutely. It shows passion, initiative, and the ability to apply color principles across different mediums. And don't be afraid to get creative with the presentation. A beautifully bound book of fabric swatches, a digital slideshow with captivating color transitions, those little touches can make a big difference.
It's all about standing out right. Because, let's be real, the color world is competitive. Speaking of which, the career guide also mentioned networking. Is that really that important in this field?
It's huge, EE. Networking is about building relationships, learning from others, and staying ahead of the curve in terms of trends and opportunities.
Okay, but how does someone even network in the color world? It's not like there's a color-themed LinkedIn group. Or is there?
There might be, but seriously, there are tons of ways to connect with other professionals. Attend industry events and trade shows. That's where you'll meet the people who are really in the thick of it. Join online forums and discussion groups. Follow influential figures on social media. It's all about immersing yourself in the community.
And the career guide specifically mentioned artists, designers, even cosmetic chemists as good people to connect with. Why those fields in particular?
Think of it like this. Color doesn't exist in a vacuum. It interacts with design, with art, with the very chemistry of the materials we use. Building relationships with professionals in those fields broadens your perspective, exposes you to new ideas, and might even lead to unexpected collaborations or job opportunities down the line.
Love that. Cross-pollination of color inspiration. Okay, last career tip from the career guide. Continuous learning. I feel like we've hit on this throughout the episode, but why is it so important, especially in a field like color sampling, which seems pretty specific?
Technology is constantly evolving. New pigments and dyes are being developed, and trends are always changing. What got you excited about color 5 years ago might be old news today. Continuous learning isn't just about keeping up. It's about staying ahead and bringing fresh perspectives to your work.
So how does someone even stay ahead of the curve? It feels like there's so much information out there. Where do you even begin?
Start by picking one or two areas that really fascinate you and dive deep. Maybe it's exploring the world of sustainable and eco-friendly dyes, or learning about the latest advancements in spectrophotometry, whatever piques your interest. Online courses, industry publications, even just following relevant hashtags on social media, those are all great ways to stay informed and inspired.
It's like that saying, the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know.
Exactly, but that's part of what makes a career like this so rewarding. There's always something new to discover.
Okay, before we move on, I have to ask about something that really caught my eye in the materials. This whole RoleCatcher platform, what is it? And how does it fit into all of this career prep we've been discussing?
Yes. RoleCatcher is like having a secret weapon for your job search.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Imagine this. You've spent hours crafting the perfect CV, highlighting your skills and experience, but then it gets lost in a sea of applications. Never even seen by a human recruiter.
The black hole of applicant tracking systems. It's terrifying.
That's where RoleCatcher comes in. It uses the power of artificial intelligence to analyze job descriptions and tailor your CV and cover letter to perfectly match the specific keywords and phrases that employers are looking for.
So it's not just about having a good CV, it's about having the right CV for the job.
Exactly. RoleCatcher takes the guesswork out of the equation and significantly increases your chances of getting noticed by both recruiters and those all-important applicant tracking systems. And it gets even better.
Okay, you've piqued my interest. What else can RoleCatcher do? What else can RoleCatcher do?
They have this incredible library of practice interview questions tailored to specific job roles.
Oh, so it's not just generic interview advice.
Not at all. It's like having a personal interview coach in your pocket. You can practice your answers to questions that are commonly asked for color sampling operator positions. And get this, RoleCatcher's AI will actually give you feedback on your responses.
Whoa, feedback? Like what kind of feedback are we talking about here?
It can analyze your answers for things like clarity, conciseness, even the use of industry-specific keywords. It's like having a virtual mentor helping you refine your answers and boost your confidence.
Okay, that's seriously impressive. So RoleCatcher is like streamlining the job search process, A&D, giving you that extra edge in the interview.
Exactly. In the competitive world of color sampling, having those extra tools and insights can make all the difference.
It's like having a secret color decoder ring. So as we wrap up our deep dive here, any final words of wisdom for our aspiring color sampling operators?
Remember, it's not just about acing the interview, it's about finding a role where your passion for color can truly shine. Do your research network like a pro, never stop learning, and with a little help from RoleCatcher's AI, you'll be well on your way to a vibrant and fulfilling career.
Love it. Armed with these insights and a dash of that color confidence, you've got this.
Yeah.
That's a wrap on this deep dive into the world of color sampling operators. Until next time, keep those colors bold.